Hello and welcome to this week's video. This week's topic, language and delivery. I'm Dr. Rick Merritt. In this presentation, we are focusing on oral versus the written style of communication, along with the delivery of speeches. This is how we actually present the speech to the audience. It includes the verbal component, along with the non-verbal aspect. Your deliverables this week are the quiz, your discussions, and you should also be practicing your speech. Here I am a few years ago practicing for the Pennsylvania State High School radio announcing competition. I'll follow up with the results later on in the video. So looking at language and oral style, speaking with clarity. Now you've put together your outline and it's very good. You may want to check to make sure that it will actually be understood by your audience. You decide to do your speech on computers and some issues people have with them. You start out by discussing slow computers. You tell the audience to check the bandwidth and their cache and maybe have cookies that are slowing the download from the cloud. However, you've probably not spoken clearly to the audience because this is what they get. Something about a band and money and cookies and something coming down from a cloud. You may have a wonderful speech. The outline's crisp and clear. However, you must ensure you effectively communicate with the audience. When you understand the background of your audience, in relation to your topic, you'll explain terms that may be unclear so you're all on the same page and you'll use the language they understand. Things such as, I'm going to make sure everybody's familiar with the terms. When I'm talking about cloud, it's file storage, bandwidth, how fast your computer works, cache or stored items on your computer, and cookies are what some websites put up that they know you'll be able to come back and they'll know you. Now, when you take a look at how it works, you and your audience are now on the same page. Next, we're going to get into ensuring that you are speaking appropriately and avoiding offending your audience. There are some things to avoid when talking to an audience. Using the pronoun he to refer to all individuals. You can effectively use plurals in your presentation. Avoid marking individuals based on race or sex or other individual characteristics. For example, according to the rocket scientist, who is a woman, those should be avoided. Simply talk about the rocket scientist. And this should be quite obvious, but don't use profanity or vulgarity in your speech. It doesn't matter if you're doing it for class or someone else. Please avoid these at all costs. Speaking vividly is using language that will help the audience see what you are talking about. When you are talking about computers, you can say that by knowing the pitfalls that can end with you agonizing over a stolen ID, you can avoid that scenario. It's possible to surf the web with the vigilance and help of a security software along with your common sense. Avoid sharing information with people you don't know. You wouldn't give a copy of your driver's license information to someone on the street, so don't do it on the information superhighway. This language, along with visuals, is more effective than a bullet list of things not to do. Now here's a bit more about delivery. I've mentioned speech anxiety for the past 3 weeks, and you will see it again in your text. Do what works for you. Practicing helps. And positive thoughts help. That's the I am a well-prepared and confident public speaker. And did I say practicing helps? Effective delivery style includes conversational style, eye contact, and the presentation should be intelligible, meaning speak up, speak slowly, and avoid speaking in a monotone. Speakers who read speeches tend to have poor eye contact and talk in a monotone. Avoid this by using your outline notes and speaking extemporaneously. This means a majority of your speech is unscripted and you are telling us what you know. Other tips are stand up straight and use natural gestures. Don't script gestures as they will come across as disingenuous. Now remember, the speech is due at the end of the 5th week, so by this point you should be practicing like Batman or simply engaging in practice, 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 whichever one works for you. Well, that's it for this week. Oh, so you want to know what happened as a result of my practice for the state radio announcing tournament? My results. Here I am, lounging around with my second place trophy. Not too bad for a state tournament. Clothes are pretty stylish too. Maybe someday they'll come back in style. Okay, that's really all for this week. Remember to do your discussions, complete the quiz, and be working on your speech. Remember, your speech due date is not too far off. Check the calendar in D2L for the deadline date. Until next week, I will see you online.